What is going on, guys? Sonic and the Bean Show here, and welcome back to another top 10 video. Now, first off, I do want to wish everyone a Merry Christmas or a Happy Holidays, of course. I hope everyone is enjoying their Christmas today, and also let me know what Sonic figures you got today as well. I would love to hear it. But today, guys, since we are very close to ending the year off, it is about that time for some top 10 videos giving you my favorite figures released this year. Now, in this video, I'll be ranking the 2.5-inch figures, but in another video we will be doing the 4-inch figures. So with all that being said, guys, let's go ahead and start the countdown. This is my top 10 best 2.5-inch Sonic action figures of 2022. Alright, guys, so coming into our number 10 spot is gonna be the Dark Chao figure. Now, although I wasn't always a fan of the proportion of how the Chao figures were or how big their heads were compared to other figurines, but this Dark Chao right here is actually pretty cool. They definitely nailed it on how Dark Chao should look, and since it's my favorite Chao out of the others, it was most likely going to make it here on the list. So this is a must pick up for anyone that's a huge fan of Chao stuff. So my pick for number 10 is Dark Chao. Now, coming in at number 9 is going to be the Charmy Bee figure. I really do like this figure a lot. You know, I wasn't going insane or anything when it was announced, but after getting it in hands, I definitely did enjoy it a lot more than I thought I would. Maybe if the figure wasn't too small, it would have been higher on the list, but I think overall, they did a fantastic job on Charmy, which is why he is added on my list right here. So I definitely recommend picking up this Charmy figure. I think it's definitely a must for a lot of Sonic collectors, and he's very cheap too to get, so that's another thing about it. Coming in at number 8 is the Sonic the Hedgehog 2 movie figure. This is actually a really good 2.5-inch figure. The classic characters are usually the best in this lineup, but the movie Sonic figure was really good, especially how they deliver it with the head sculpt, and the fur texture on the quills makes it pretty epic. So I definitely had to add the movie Sonic at number 8 right here. Coming in at my number 7 spot is probably one that a lot of people didn't expect. It's gonna be the classic Eggman figure. Now, even though this is just a miniature version of the 4-inch figure that was released a while ago, that figure was still really good. I mean, it's still a really good figure to this day, and that doesn't mean that this figure is bad right here. The way how they captured the classic look of Eggman from the games here just looks immaculate, man. This Eggman is awesome to have, and with the Eggmobile set that came with him is just the cherry on top. I don't know if they're going to do more sets for the Eggmobile or maybe for this Eggman figure, but it's still a pretty good Eggman figure to have. So he is at the number 7 spot here. Now, speaking of the Eggmobile, coming in at my number 6 spot is going to be Classic Sonic. This is one of the best looking Classic Sonic figures ever. I really love that head sculpt. I love displaying this figure with a lot of the other classic characters on the roster. It's just such a good figure, man. I do hope it gets a single release one day, because mine has its moments where it can't stand well, and I wouldn't want to just buy another Eggmobile set just to try to get lucky on getting a better one. But this right here is still an outstanding figure. I think Jax did an amazing job on Classic Sonic, and who knows, we could see another new variant someday. Now, we're not done with Classic Sonic just yet, because coming in at number 5 is Classic Supersonic. Not one of, but the best looking Classic Supersonic action figure to date. This is a very beautiful figure right here. Honestly, it probably could have been higher on the list, but my god, that short and long leg problem is just terrible, and because of that is why I had to take some points off of the figure. I thought if I would buy a couple of more of these figures, I would have found a better one to solve the issue, but it was still an issue, which is a bummer, and because of that, you won't be able to have both of his feet facing forward. But other than that gripe, this is still a really good Classic Supersonic figure, so if you don't own this, I highly recommend it. I think you can get it for like $7 on Amazon, so it's still pretty cheap to get. Continuing with the classic characters, we have none other than Classic Amy. What a fascinating figure right here. I remember being very excited when I heard she was coming into the line. Loved it when the figure was revealed, and loved it when the figure was released. My god, they knocked this one out of the park, and now this makes me more interested on how the 2.5-inch modern one is going to be. I'm sure that one is going to be great as well, but I don't think it's going to top this one though, but who knows? It kind of depends on where it's going to be placed for my top 10 of next year, but Classic Amy is number 4 on my list. Now this one right here shocked me quite a bit, and that is the Advent Calendar exclusive Classic Tails. Now Classic Tails is one of the best 2.5-inch figures they ever made. It actually became my favorite 2.5-inch Sonic figure released last year. So since it's making a comeback with a brand new head sculpt, a Christmas sweater, and removable antlers, it was definitely going to be high on the list right here. This Classic Tails is great. I like this figure a whole lot. I also can't forget the interchangeable tails that you can do with the other modern tails. Like, just an astonishing figure. Definitely had to have been in my top 3 right here. If you were to take classic Metal Sonic out of the games and shrink him down to an action figure, this is what you would get. The head sculpt is my favorite thing about this figure. It captures that classic look of him very well. I think the formula is perfect. It's a great looking figure, very toyetic. I mean, this figure has it all, man. Well, except minus the weird paint smudge on the back of his foot. I know some people might prefer a metallic paint on him, but personally the plain matte paint still works because it gives it that cartoony type Sonic Mania adventure art style to it, which I'm sure is what they were going with. But Jesus, what an amazing figure overall. Definitely enjoyed myself having this and reviewing it as well. And to be honest, if they were to ever make a 4-inch version, I'm quite interested in how that turned out. And coming in at number 1, it is the Classic Knuckles figure. Not only is this my favorite 2.5-inch figure, but it is one of my all-time favorite Sonic figures ever. This figure is just too good, man. You might be wondering why I didn't add the other Classic Knuckles figure on this list that came in the Advent Calendar. Honestly, that's literally just the same figure. It just has the Christmas hat on. Like, if I had some sort of Santa hat accessory and just put it on this Knuckles, it's the same thing really. But again, this Classic Knuckles is just unbelievable, man. I love displaying this guy around my set here and posing him around. Definitely a must-have for all Sonic fans without a doubt. This makes me want a 4-inch Classic Knuckles now because of how well this figure came out. So whenever that one comes out, I wouldn't even be surprised if that made it in the top 5 someday. But that right there wraps up my top 10, guys. So leave me your top 10 or top 5 down below. But thank you all so much for watching. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, and I will definitely catch you guys in the next video. Take care, my friends.